Hello. For quite a long time this pair of in-ear monitors are the most used IEMs in my collection. If you've seen my recap of 2018, I named this model as having best price to quality ratio. I think you probably already recognize them. It's IMR R1 model. Great hybrid model using dynamic driver and ceramic tweeter. I really like their tuning, I really like their sound, I use them as my everyday on the go model. But today it's time to speak about the updated version that IMR recently released. This model is named R1 Zenith. And actually it's a definite improvement in almost every aspect. And the most surprising thing is that Zenith has the same price as the stock R1, but now let's have a closer look. Box is pretty minimalistic, but it's stylish, and all presentation is done nicely by IMR. So as you can see, not much details printed on the box, but main technical specifications are 32 ohms of impedance, 108 decibels of sensitivity, and frequency response from 14 Hz to 40 kHz, 14mm dynamic driver, and ceramic tweeter. Inside of this outer wrap there is inner box. It opens this way, and inside you will have all the accessories set. Short memo about the different filters, IEMs themselves. Let's put them aside for a while. Case. Inside of this case there are updated cables from IMR, but I will show it a bit later. Nice set of tips. As you can see, 2 pair of foams, 4 pair of single flange tips, and a pair of double flange tips. 4 spare pairs of filters, totally 5 pair of filters here, and 6.3mm adapter, and short manual with warranty card. Inside of this case, as I've said before, you will find the cables. There are 2 cables, regular 3.5mm and 2.5mm. They are absolutely similar, and a short clip. As you can see, accessory set is pretty nice. Everything that you will need with these in-ear monitors you will have. In terms of design and build quality, Zenith is a definite improvement over regular R1. I actually like R1's original design, but Zenith just looks better. As you can see, better finish with interesting graphite color, better metal work, better casing, and everything looks better. And actually the shape of case is almost similar. It's designed to be worn over the ear this way, and it's probably the smallest case that can hold big 14mm dynamic driver actually. So here is spouts. They can be unscrewed because it's those filters that allows you to tune the sound, and you can screw them back. Everything is smooth, everything is nicely finished, and everything is fitted perfectly. There is a lip to hold the tip, there is protective grill, so everything is in place. They are fitting nicely into ears, really good level of wearing comfort even for long periods of time. And another noticeable change, noticeable improvement is this backport changing system. So original R1 also offered this feature. Via simple twist you can change them between open and closed. But actually here was really small holes, so no big difference was with this tuning system. And now it uses upgraded version, and it works similar to some faucet probably. You rotate this knob, and as you can see, this inner part moves, opening the back port. Now it has noticeably bigger opening, so its impact on sound is much more noticeable. It definitely changes level of sub-bass and sound isolation. I really like the updated tuning system. And of course cables are replaceable. Here used regular 2.5 regular 2-pin connector with a small notch here, but actually all cables will fit. It just needs to have the necessary 2 pins connector. So is it left or is it right? Which ear it is? It's the left, and this is the left ear. So connectors are really good. They fit nicely with proper force. You definitely won't lose your in-ear monitors. Let me see, I oriented notch correctly, and here they are. So cables are not like modern audiophilia cables. It's not looking super fancy. It's not as flexible as modern cables, but IMR built this cable with sonic performance and with durability in mind. It's actually pretty soft, and it's softer than it's a bit thinner and softer than the original version of the cable. I'm not sure will video show it, but it's a bit thinner and a bit more flexible, so it's better in terms of comfort, but actually I like original version too. It holds nicely behind your ear, it's not getting hard when it's cold, microphonic effect is low, so I really like this cable. Maybe it's not fancy looking, but it's really durable. It goes way down to the splitter. There is a chin slider. You can use a short clip if you need, and from splitter goes really thick, really reliable cable way down to the connector. Connector is angled, so as both 2.5mm and 3.5mm versions. To summarize everything, noticeable improvement in design, in general outlook, but it's still the same pretty comfortable in-ear monitors. And of course about the sound. As usual, you will need to find the proper tips, maybe some third-party tips, and also you need to find the proper filter. For example, the previous version of R1 I used with blue filters, but now I decided to go with pink filters because those have a more increased speed, and because of that I'd like to have a bit more bass impact with those, and pink filters give that to me. And also, of course, they require burn-in, and pretty long burn-in, like 80 or even more, up to 100 hours, because the big 14mm dynamic driver really requires some time to settle. In terms of tuning, it's like R1, but improved almost in every single aspect. I don't know how IMR Acoustics achieve that, because they improved almost every single aspect. All that improvements are not drastical, but together they give a noticeable step forward. So let's move from low frequencies up to treble. Of course, bass here is one of the most prominent and most noticeable parts. If you have 14mm driver, you can definitely get tons of bass. And lows here are impactful, they are deep, they got good body, good weight, but at the same time they are pretty fast. This 14mm dynamic driver has beryllium coating of diaphragm, so it's pretty fast when it's driven properly. So, great texturing, good weight, good balance. Of course, in terms of speed it's not balanced armatures, but it's definitely properly tuned dynamic driver with that take care about low frequencies and about mid frequencies, so there is no this place on the overlap of bass and mids. They sound really coherent. Bass goes really deep and provide great rumble, great weight, and great impact. As an example of low frequencies, I've got this track. It's Piotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky 1812 Overture. I listened like 30 or 40 different recordings of this overture, and probably most of all I like Göteborg Symphonical Orchestra, because this record has real guns and they sound, really different from some samples or from big drums that sometimes is used to represent this part, and closer to the grand finale. I think everyone heard that the end of this overture, and everyone seen V for Vendetta, where this overture is mentioned. At the end, where the bells going to this crescendo and the guns are shooting. This part sounds really impressive with good headphones, but almost no in-ear monitors could play this part in really realistic manner, and R1 Zenith is one of the few that can really represent the shots of the big guns with all that roar, with all that blows and impact. Mids are nice. They are not balanced armature, but they are still resolving. It's a good dynamic driver mids with nice resolution, with nice balanced weight, with enough of emotions, not going into micro details, more playing in macro style, but they've got definitive improvement over regular R1 in terms of resolution and in terms of speed. So if you heard R1 and want more details, this model is for you. And this addition in detalization really improves the staging. R1 was pretty wide and deep, but those are close to the top of the line models, because staging here is really impressive, especially if you open the back ports. Of course, you will lose a bit of sub-bass opening back ports, but you will get better and wider stage. So it's a matter of compromise, probably. And as an example, I will use this record. It's Self-Portrait in 3 colors by Charles Mingus. I think you actually, it would be example of treble. So yes, for the mid frequencies I've got Godspeed You Black Emperor, Sleep, somewhere at 7th minute. They've got unusual part with some howling instruments in the right and left channel, and in many in-ear monitors those instruments are sounding closer to the center, and only good models can position this sound to the left and to the right properly, and R1 are among them. So really good emotional in-ear monitors, not for those who like to dig into small details, because they have good level of detalization. They not accenting these micro details, but for those who like to get an emotions, who like to get proper weight of both male and female vocal, who like to get the most realistic sound of instruments, really good model with good staging. And treble is the part where this piezo driver really shines. I really like good treble, and I like models with good treble extension. Of course, such models are critical to the quality of recordings, because they require superbly recorded upper treble layer, and not many records nowadays can show that. But with good audiophilic recordings, this part is really decorates everything, because upper treble above 10 kHz is the part where goes all these overtones, where goes tiny decays, nuances that makes at least for me that makes this audiophilic sounding, and I really miss it in less treble rich models. And luckily R1 Zenith is also improved here, because treble extension is even better than with regular R1. It has good detalization, great realism. I really like the piezo driver, how it's cooked here, and how it's joined with this dynamic driver in perfect mix. So it gives here nice sense of realism, good attacks, decays, layering, everything is almost superb. Of course, if you are treble sensitive, it's probably not a model for you, because they got a lot of treble, but they are not crossing the line actually of being fatiguing. And actually, if you're treble sensitive, there are filters with recessed treble. You can have more polite treble representation, but honestly I don't know why to do that. It's like, you know, get some sport car and never drive faster than 40 miles per hour. So extended treble here is a real diamond in the crown of these in-ear monitors, and I really recommend you to try it, to listen to it, to get some great recordings. And like that example that I already shown, it's Charles Mingus self-portrait in 3 colors, really good recording with lot of percussion, with lot of timbre-rich instruments going high to low domain and to high domain really nicely. And this in-ear monitors definitely shines with this track, showing giving you great sense of realism and great sense of presence. As for driving, you know, they definitely deserve some good source, probably something like iBasso DX150 or probably DX200 if you like more natural sounding, Aston Kern SR15 or QLS 361, so some technical resolving dub, or of course some of flagship models will be okay too. Of course they will be good even with less expensive sources, but their potential is lying above the mid level of dubs. They can definitely benefit from something closer to upper mid or even the flagship status. I won't be doing a lot of comparisons, you know, first of all because I really like the IMR, both versions of IMR, and for me it's hard to compare them because I really simply like them. And second, because they, you know, they really differ from everything else, because in this price range what you can usually get? You can get some hybrid model or some multi-balanced armatures, and usually all that models will have armatures on mids. They will be faster but less weighty, and often they are not as extended as IMRs on treble. So usually there is not much sense in comparing. IMRs is for those who like good dynamic driver on mids, not super resolving but with good resolution, but more accenting on the emotions and macro details, and also who like to get good bass going pretty deep, and for those who like nice treble extension. So probably the only comparison that I will do is compare them with regular version of R1, but also it's not really useful comparison because I even use different filters with them. So Zenith is faster, it's more resolving on all frequencies, it's less weighty on low frequencies, but to compensate that I just used more basic filters, and they have noticeably bigger imaginary stage and more even and further extended treble, and also they've got this better back port venting system, and sometimes it's really fun to play. So I really recommend you IMR R1 if you like such sound, if you like powerful mids, if you like emotions, if you like extended treble. If you got R1, probably, you know, don't sell them before you will get the Zenith, because really likely you will want to keep them both because they are enjoyable. But anyway, R1 is more technical, more mature, more audiophilic model. I really like the upgrade that IMR done, and I looking forward to see what they will offer next. Thank you for attention.